Have you ever sent a message, only to be met with silence? That kind of silence, so deafening it almost mocks you? It's like pouring your heart into words, only for them to vanish into a black hole. You wonder, did I say something wrong? Am I not good enough? But let me tell you this, people ignore what they don't value. When you beg for attention, you only reinforce their indifference. The more you chase, the further they pull away. But today, that ends. I'm going to show you how to stop begging for scraps of attention and make them want to engage with you instead. This isn't about manipulation, it's about understanding the psychology of connection. 1. The truth about begging for attention. Think of it this way, when you grip sand tightly in your hand, what happens? The tighter you squeeze, the faster it slips through your fingers. The same applies to attention. The more you chase, the less likely they are to notice you. Instead of begging, it's time to shift the dynamic. What if you could turn their silence into your weapon? Instead of explaining yourself or sending another desperate text, I'm going to teach you how to create curiosity, how to say just enough to leave them wanting more. That's the power of subtle psychology-backed techniques. 2. The art of breadcrumbing. Breadcrumbing isn't manipulation. It's about showing restraint and creating curiosity. Think of it like this. When someone ignores you, it's often because they don't feel compelled by your message. What if you could send something so subtle, so intriguing, that they had to respond? Try this, you just crossed my mind. Interesting timing. Or, I just saw something that reminded me of you, but it's hard to explain. These messages leave them wondering. What timing? What reminder? You're sparking their curiosity without giving them all the answers. And when curiosity is triggered, they can't help but engage. This works because you're creating intrigue without being overly eager. They won't feel pressured, but they will feel compelled to respond. 3. Pull the rug. When someone ignores you, it's easy to play it safe, trying to win them back by being predictable. But here's the truth. Predictability is boring. If you want to reignite their interest, you need to shake things up. Instead of playing it safe, flip the dynamic. Disrupt their expectations. Send something like, "Guess I'll have to find someone else for this idea." Too bad, you'd have been perfect. By sending this message, you're not being rude, but you are being unpredictable, which forces them to reconsider the dynamic and re-engage. Remember, it's all about keeping them on their toes. When they think they know what to expect, they tune out. When you surprise them, you keep them interested. 4. The hook they can't shake, 1839. Ever had a song stuck in your head? That's the power of a hook, something so compelling that it lingers long after it's over. When someone ignores you, you don't need to beg for their attention. A good hook plants a seed that grows long after they've read your message. Send something like, "I just realized something about you, and it's kind of blowing my mind." Or, "Have you ever thought about how you do that thing you're so good at?" These messages don't explain everything. They don't give answers. They just leave them thinking about you. By hitting on something personal, you spark emotional curiosity. And emotional curiosity is irresistible. The more personal and thought-provoking your hook, the more likely they are to respond. 5. The mirror message. When someone gives you one-word replies or takes hours to respond, it's tempting to overcompensate with a long, enthusiastic message. But don't. Instead, mirror their behavior. If they send a curt response like, "Okay," you reply with something equally brief, "Cool." Mirroring forces them to notice the absence of your usual warmth and attention. It's a powerful move because it shows them what they're missing without you saying a word. This isn't about being passive-aggressive. It's about showing them that your attention is valuable, and they'll start to realize it. 6. The challenge they can't ignore. Instead of begging for attention, throw down a challenge they can't resist. A challenge taps into their curiosity and competitive nature, making them eager to engage with you. For example, send something like, "I bet you can't guess what I'm about to tell you," or "I've got a theory about you, but you probably won't believe it." This playful challenge shifts the dynamic, making them feel like they need to rise to the occasion and engage. Suddenly, you're not chasing them, they're chasing you. 7. Nostalgia. Another powerful tool is nostalgia. When someone ignores you, it's easy to feel like the connection is fading. But a simple reminder of a past moment can rekindle that spark. Send something like, "I just saw something that reminded me of you. Remember when we shared experience? That was a great time." This taps into the emotions tied to a shared memory, pulling them back into a moment of closeness. Nostalgia doesn't demand a response, but it subtly invites them to reconnect, reminding them of the bond you once had. 8. The silent sting. Finally, sometimes the best response is no response at all. The silent sting is one of the most powerful strategies you can use. When someone treats you like an afterthought, stop chasing. Choose silence. This silence speaks volumes. It makes them wonder why you're no longer chasing after their attention. The absence of your presence forces them to feel the weight of their neglect. And in that discomfort, they'll begin to question their actions and whether they've lost you for good.